The hidden psychology of the IKEA effect begins with a flat cardboard box on your floor. You are kneeling among boards, screws, and an instruction manual in which the illustrated figure remains remarkably calm, even when completely clueless. An hour later, the piece of furniture is standing, and although millions of people own the exact same model, this one suddenly feels different because, after all, you built it. If there is a screw left over, it was obviously intended as a spare. And if a door does not close completely straight, that is clearly because of the floor in your apartment. Perhaps even the entire building. In any case, you did everything right. That sounds harmless, but it is not. Because the same mechanism also works when there is no Allen key in sight. You develop an idea, invest weeks in a project, or fight for your opinion for a long time. And the more of yourself you put into it, the harder it becomes to recognize whether it is actually moving you forward. The tricky part is that the very qualities that normally move you forward make this difference so difficult to recognize. You are persistent. You are loyal. You take action instead of giving up at the first problem. These are genuine strengths until your brain quietly turns perseverance into clinging on. And that is where the IKEA effect begins to become interesting, because anyone who recognizes when their own strength is working in the wrong direction can redirect that same energy toward more worthwhile possibilities and achieve significantly more with their best qualities. You are planning a vacation. At first, you only want to take a quick look at flights. By the next evening, you have 12 browser tabs open, created a color-coded spreadsheet, and discovered which cafe at your destination has the shortest line on Tuesdays between 2 and 4 in the afternoon. Your itinerary includes the cheapest flight, the most beautiful stopover, and probably also a bus connection that only runs on odd-numbered calendar days. But it does not matter, because you researched everything yourself, so you are fairly certain that this is the perfect plan. Then someone shows you a significantly simpler trip, even with a direct flight and a better hotel that is hardly any more expensive. Objectively, this offer sounds reasonable. Nevertheless, you immediately start looking for flaws. The transfer is probably badly organized. The hotel looks almost suspiciously clean in the pictures. And besides, it is missing that small detour you have already spent 3 hours researching. Honestly, that is completely human. Anyone who has invested several evenings in planning a trip does not want to hear that an app found a better solution in 30 seconds. All that work has to make itself noticeable somewhere, after all. This is exactly where the IKEA effect begins. As soon as we create, plan, or develop something ourselves, its value rises dramatically in our eyes. Not necessarily because it is actually better, but because our own effort is contained within it. But the effect goes one step further. Your brain does not simply register the work you invested as time that has passed. It treats it as evidence. If something has cost many hours, patience, and nerves, then it must have been important and right. Otherwise, your brain would have to allow for a significantly more uncomfortable possibility that you worked hard for a long time without achieving a better result. So afterward, it attaches an invisible price tag to your work. The more you have invested, the harder it becomes to assess the result objectively, because by now, you are no longer defending only your work. You are also defending the image you have of yourself. That is understandable, of course. Nobody wants to discover that 3 hours of fine-tuning a detail are only supposed to be important because they happen to spend 3 hours on it. And that is why we sometimes do not defend the quality of something at all. We defend the significance of our own effort. Because when we identify strongly with a result, criticism of it quickly feels like criticism of us. For example, you develop your own system for organizing work. It consists of spreadsheets, colors, subfolders, and a logic that probably nobody except you fully understands. Then someone shows you a simpler solution that works in half the time. Those should actually be good news. Nevertheless, you first explain to them in detail why their system fails to account for important special cases. The fact that these special cases occur roughly twice a year is irrelevant at this point. After all, you did not spend 3 weeks optimizing your solution just so that someone else could now win. That looks like stubbornness. In reality, you are defending more than a spreadsheet. Your system proves that you solved a problem yourself. When it is described as unnecessarily complicated, your brain does not only hear criticism of a method, but criticism of you. As soon as several people have worked on something, the effect becomes even stronger. An idea then becomes not only a project, but a collective creation. Everyone has contributed something. Everyone has invested time, and eventually nobody wants to be the person who asks whether the whole thing still makes any sense at all. Then, during a meeting, someone suddenly presents a new solution. It is simpler, cheaper, and could be implemented within a few days. For a brief moment, there is silence. Then, the defense of the existing plan begins. Important details are supposedly missing. The new solution is said to be not yet fully developed. Besides, the whole thing would first have to be examined thoroughly, preferably in several more meetings. That is particularly useful when you want to make a good idea die as slowly as possible. People want improvements as long as they do not devalue their previous work. Anyone who has worked on a solution for a long time quickly experiences a better alternative as a devaluation of their own achievement. This is how entire teams hold on to complicated solutions, even though a better one has long been on the table. Not because they fail to recognize it, but because they want to prove that their previous effort was worthwhile. Up to this point, the IKEA effect sounds like a weakness you should get rid of as quickly as possible, but that would be too simple, because our own work does not only make things appear more valuable, it can actually give them meaning. Anyone who develops something themselves usually understands it better, takes greater care of it, and is more likely to take responsibility for it. Participation creates attachment. Without this mechanism, many ideas would probably never make it beyond the first difficult moment. What matters is not whether you value your own work, but whether your brain confuses personal value with actual quality. It is not a neutral judge in this process. It is more like a very proud co-founder who immediately starts searching for reasons why everyone else simply has not understood the concept yet whenever it is criticized. The crucial ability, therefore, is not to become less proud, loyal, or persistent. It is to separate two questions from each other. Is it actually good, or does it only mean so much to me because I have put so much into it? And is it truly taking me where I want to go? That is where the surprising strength of the IKEA effect lies. Once you recognize this difference, you do not have to restrain your dedication. You can use it more deliberately for ideas, projects, and decisions that do not merely contain your effort, but truly deserve it. You can be disciplined, reliable, and ambitious for years and still make hardly any progress if all that strength is only being used to keep an earlier decision alive. More effort does not solve the problem then. It merely makes the attachment stronger. That is exactly what separates being busy from making progress. People who achieve extraordinary things do not give up less often. They simply recognize sooner when further perseverance is no longer creating any additional value. They do not see a change of direction as the loss of their previous work. They take what worked and invest it where it can create something greater. This also changes the meaning of the IKEA effect. It is not only a warning against bad decisions, it shows you where an exceptional amount of strength is hidden in everything you defend so passionately. Because persistence, responsibility, and genuine commitment are already contained within it. The only crucial question is whether this energy is still building something great or has begun primarily protecting what you once built. What could you achieve if your strongest qualities no longer served your past but your next possibility?